to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Hex.
And I'm Bajo.
And I am Darren.
Coming up on the show, the co-op gravity bending platforming of Ibb and Obb.
Did you know that gravity is just curved space-time?
Oh, I did know that, Darren. You see, matter tells space-time how to curve, and then curved space-time tells matter how to move.
Correct, Bajo! The idea of acceleration and how it relates to gravity comes from Einstein's equivalence principle, which states that you cannot tell the difference between
All right, well, I think we should
gravitational...
leave the astrophysics till a little bit later on. Also coming up on the show, we've got a story about my uncle.
Uncle Fred had warned me not to touch any of his things. But, as I said, I was a curious child.
Oh, that's right, the game is called A Story About My Uncle. I was a bit confused. Oh, do you have an interesting question for us this week, Darren?
Affirmative. It's time for Darren's Challenge! Dust off those frontal lobe spawlings. This week, I'm asking you, who is Rayman's best friend? I shall reveal the answer at the end of the show.
Ah, that can be tricky because Rayman does have a lot of sidekicks.
That is true, Hex. Let's have a think about it. But first, here's Goose with some news.
Thanks, guys. Goose here with all the Spawn Point news. A bioengineer at Stanford University has brought new life to games by developing some innovative living games. Ingmar Rydell Cruz has created a series of games in which players control simple organic microbes with harmless electronic pulses. The setup uses motion capture to track the organisms with an augmented reality style overlay, displaying variations of classic games like soccer and Pong. After the long-buried Atari 2600 games were recently unearthed, it's now been announced that over half of them will be valued and sold off. The remainder of the games dug up from the New Mexico landfill will be donated to museums and artistic pursuits. The games include Asteroids and the universally panned E.T. the Extraterrestrial. And finally, the robot species is set to rapidly expand, following Intel's announcement of the arrival of 3D printed robots. The company introduced Jimmy, the 2-foot-tall walking, talking robot at a conference last month.
I'm Jimmy the Robot. I'm a 2-foot-tall, high-end humanoid research robot.
The robot was primarily made from 3D printers, with the motors and processors being added afterwards. The design is planned to be made publicly available by the end of the year. And that's all the news for this week. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Goose. Okay, guys, now it's time for a story about my uncle.
Affirmative. The game puts you in control of a young boy searching for his lost Uncle Fred. The first thing the boy finds is a special suit that gives him acrobatic abilities. And shortly after that, he's transported to a mysterious alien realm.
Yeah, I thought the story was quite touching, although the narration was a little confusing at first. It's told by a grown-up version of the boy who's retelling the story to his own child.
How did you know Fred had been there?
Well, I found a small campsite where Fred must have slept before going further into the caves.
That suit sure comes in handy for exploring the floating islands, though. You can charge up these huge jumps. And if you jump while you're sprinting, you can travel surprisingly far.
Don't forget the grappling hook. That was my favourite bit. You can attach this beam to far-off rocks and use it like a rubber band to fling yourself forwards. I felt like a superhero doing great jumps and then using it to zip back down.
Plus, the game even has rocket boots.
They look pretty powerful, right?
With these, you can fly at great speeds, which comes in handy for launching you towards rocks to grapple onto. Although I was disappointed that the rocket boots can only be used for a few seconds before they need to recharge. Clearly, Uncle Fred had not discovered the secrets of antimatter rocket propulsion like I have.
Yes, well, not everyone has the knowledge that you have of astrophysics, Darren.
Affirmative, Bajo. Oh, maybe I could open up a rocket school for humans and share my wisdom.
Yes.
That'd be awesome. Great idea, Darren. Guys, I don't know about you, but I actually found this a really fun world to explore. There are a lot of curious aliens to meet, and some of the floating islands just look stunning. Flying between them was a real thrill.
What do you think of the later levels, Hex?
Well, generally, I thought the game did a pretty good job of guiding you through some of the trickier jumping and grappling puzzles. And it sure allows you to perform some amazing stunts. Although there were a lot of jumps that I missed by this much.
it's so frustrating. I failed many jumps. Come on. Ah!
One of the issues I had with this game is that it's often difficult to know at a glance how far away the next floating rock is. Small rocks floating close to you and big rocks floating off in the distance look very similar.
I usually just jumped and hoped for the best, and most of the time it worked out. I think the game did a pretty good job of having that next platform within reach.
I thought the game had a lot of really creative locations too. This huge room full of cubes was the perfect playground for the jumpsuit. Another great thing about this game is that it takes the first-person perspective that we normally see being used for shooters turned into this free-running fairy tale.
You know what, guys? I think it's refreshing to play an action game that doesn't have any combat.
Yeah, absolutely. It is only a shortish game at 4 to 5 hours, but it's very reasonably priced, and I thought the length felt just right. I'm giving this 8 out of 10.
They really ramped up the difficulty in that last level, though, didn't they? Oh, swinging between stalactites like a futuristic Spider-Man was intense. But I'm glad I stuck it out. I'm giving this 7.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Now, you know what time it is, Bajo?
I don't have a watch. No, I don't.
No, I mean, it's time to answer some questions.
Oh, it's that time, of course.
Yes, it is that time, and we'll kick things off with this one from Mystery Spawnling, who is somewhere in the ACT.
When did you met each other?
I think we first met, was it at a Pop Culture Expo in 2009?
Yes, I think that's correct, Tex. You randomly bumped into me because you wanted to do an interview for something or other, but I didn't know who you were.
Yeah, I admit I was a little bit starstruck, but that interview was actually part of my audition tape for a presenter role on ABC3.
Oh, how did the audition go?
Well, obviously I got it, Bajo. I'm
Congratulations.
Here.
Congrats. Welcome to the team.
I've been on the team for over 4 years.
Well, has it been that long? Oh. No, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
It sure does. Anyway, let's move on to this one from Trenton, who is in Mardi, New South Wales.
Feels like only yesterday.
I am wondering if Moririro Kart 8 is harder than the other kart games.
Well, Trenton, if you're talking about other Mario Kart games, then I'd say it's about the same difficulty as those. If you're talking about other karting games, as in Sonic ones or Little Big Planet karting, then I'd say it is more difficult at the harder setting.
Yeah, those 150cc races are tough, aren't they?
Yeah, so challenging, Hacks. You'll be coming in first almost all the whole race, and then suddenly, just before the finish line, you get slammed with shells. Oh.
It's so frustrating. Although I find that sometimes it's a good tactic to hold back in third or fourth for most of the race and then try to dash into first at the last minute.
Yes, and that way you get better items throughout the race and any nasty blue shells won't be coming at you. It's good that the game is challenging though. It makes the gameplay that little bit more exciting.
Yeah, it sure does. But while we're talking about racing games, let's move on to this one now from Hee Ha Ha, who is in the Ask Good Game room behind you.
This question has been on my mind for 2 years! Okay, I usually play racing games. People are always saying that Forza's better than Gran Turismo. But I think Gran Turismo is better. But I want to ask you, who's better, Gran Turismo or Forza? And what's better, Forza 5 or Gran Turismo 6? Please answer, or I will become a noob. Bajo, do these. Thanks, bye.
Well, firstly, I'd say they're both great racing games, and I wouldn't say one is better than the other, really. They both have their own style and ways of doing things, so mostly it depends on what style you prefer.
Yes, and I think Forza games are typically much more refined and focused. They tend to have less cars overall, but put more detail into each car. One thing I always love about Forza is the sound design too. Everything sounds so epic, but Gran Turismo can often sound a bit hollow. Forza also has much better crashes and damage effects.
Also, Forza's AI is generally a lot more fun than GT's. They tend to be a lot more unpredictable and interesting to race against, whereas GT games are known for having somewhat boring AI that just stick to the lines.
Yeah, but GT easily outshines Forza in some other very important ways. There's much more variety to the cars, tracks and modes, which is a big deal in a racing game. GT6 has well over 1,000 different cars, compared to just a few hundred in Forza 5. And it's got almost 40 tracks, well above Forza 5's 16.
GT also has full time of day and weather settings, and just a whole lot more variety in general. There's go-karts and rally races, for example, whereas Forza 5 is all standard cars on tarmac, all at the same time of day and in the same weather.
And perhaps most importantly, a lot of people would say GT has better handling physics that are more fun to race with, although Forza does handle really well too.
So I guess to sum up, each game has its pros and cons, but both are great races. It really depends on what you want from the game. So let's move on now to this one from Ghost Rider, who is in Bundaberg, Queensland.
Wait, is that someone who rides a ghost, or is it a ghost that's riding, or is the horse a ghost?
Hi, Good Game Spanpoint. I was wondering if you buy Minecraft on Xbox 360 from a gaming store, will it update? P.S. What is a noob?
It sure will, Ghost Rider. Any game that you buy from a store can receive updates just like a digital version.
Of course, you do have to have your console connected to the internet and have an Xbox Live account. But you can just have a free account and that'll still let you receive any updates that come out.
That's correct. And noob is simply someone who is new and inexperienced to a game, or anything really. I was a noob once, Hex, before I started playing games.
I was a noob as well.
And Darren was, and still is a noob. Well, I wonder who this will be.
I'm not a noob, Bajo. It's only your noobish perception of the universe which gives you such an impression. I'm actually quite excellent at all.
Just what a noob would say.
All right, well, moving on to this one from Mackenzie, who is in Kuroi in Queensland.
You're a noob, Bajo.
He's in denial. Just got accepted. Good Game Spawn Point on Clash of Clans. I'm wondering if you can help me, because I never wee battles. So I'm saying if you can tell me how to lay out troops on somebody's base. PPS, Darren is a noob. Darren's a noob.
Well, we can definitely give you a few tips, Mackenzie. So how to lay out your troops depends a lot on what combination of troops you take into battle. There are loads of possible combos, so perhaps we'll just try and give you some general tips that apply to almost any fight.
Good idea, Hex. One of the major things to worry about is their traps. It's a good idea to place just a couple of units around the place to hopefully trigger any traps they've got lying around.
And you want to try and space out your units around the base. If you place all of them in one big group, then any mortars or wizard towers can quickly wipe them all out. Although if you have any healing potions, they can help a big group just force its way into a base.
You should also try and distract defences. So if you see defences are occupied attacking some of your other units, then it's the perfect opportunity to drop down some archers nearby and take them out. Likewise, make sure defences are occupied before sending in wall breakers.
And generally you want to focus on taking down as many defences as quickly as possible. But once the defences are down, the rest is easy pickings. Well, hopefully some of those tips are helpful, and we've got time for just one more question, so let's go with this one from someone who is somewhere outside Australia.
It could be anyone, Hex.
Yeah, it could be you.
Could be me. No, I'm in Australia. Somewhere
be
out.
me.
It says outside Australia. Outside. It could be the Queen of the Monkeys, who we talked to the other week. The Queen, if you're watching. It could be the
Could be
King.
Llama Llama Duck King.
Oh, I haven't heard from Llama Llama Duck King in a while. Yeah. You know who it could be? It could be the King of the Moon. Do you know what the King of the Moon's name is?
I don't think there is. I'm pretty sure the moon has a queen.
Well, if you don't run in those kind of circles that know who's the King of the Moon is, then...
The moon has a queen, I think.
That's what everyone likes to think, but no. The moon actually has 7 queens and 27 kings.
She has a lovely moon crystal crown on her head.
We've had lovely parties at the moon.
How does your mob trap work? I have already asked this question like 1 million times, but that nutbrain Darren has kept on deleting it. From someone, I am something. Well, firstly, I don't think Darren has been deleting any questions, because if he was, he'd probably delete all the ones that call him a noob.
Yeah, that would be the logical thing to do. Let's call him and see what he has to say for himself.
What's that sound?
Darren, stop. I don't speak bloopity blobbity bloobs. Just tell me what you want to say. Speak like a normal person or a normal comprehensible robot at least.
Of course, my apologies. I was just practicing my Morse code, Bajo. Did you know Morse code was invented in 1836 by Samuel F.B. Morse? He developed a system which used electrical pulses to control an electromagnet at the receiving end. He then created a code to decipher these pulses into letters, now known as Morse code. Ingenious!
Well, that's all very interesting, Darren. Thank you very much. But back on topic for a moment. Have you been deleting emails?
That means no, Bajo. Now, can you guess what this means?
Oh, well, the first bit sounded like no, which you said before, so it's like no something. No.
No. Oh, Darren, did you just call me a noob?
Affirmative. Well done, Bajo.
Thanks, Darren.
Anytime. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh, well, anyway, back to the question. So basically, our trap uses the fact that in Minecraft, darkness causes mobs to spawn into the world. So it's essentially just a tower full of empty dark rooms. And the key is that each room is lined at the sides with running water and has holes cut into the corners.
So the way it works is the dark rooms cause mobs to spawn in, then they wander into the water, which pushes them down the holes. Then they fall onto our lava traps. And finally, their loot falls into a small stream that carries it safely away.
Simple, really. But on that note, we're out of time for this week. Don't forget, though, if you've got a question for us, then you can go here and send it in.
Oh, it's fine. Ahoy, Bajo speaking.
Hello again. Just ringing to say that I've prepared Ibb and Obb for us to all play and review in the office. See you there.
See you
Okay,
there.
thanks, Darren. To the office.
To the office! Here I come, ready?
Excellent. Oh, this is co-op in action.
Wait, I see how to do it. Okay, just gotta go up here.
Just wait for me. Okay, ready, and go.
Oh, nice one. Hey, we're pretty good at this.
It's a good team,
We're
good team.
pretty good team. Yeah.
Affirmative.
Yeah, except for Darren.
Negative.
That was pretty challenging, guys. Ibb and Obb is a game about two little blobs who just want to party.
That's right, and it was released last year on PS3, but we never checked it out. Now it's out on PC. We thought it was the perfect opportunity to have a go.
Ibb and Obb is interesting in that it's co-op only. That's right, it requires 2 people to play. You can team up with someone online, but it's always more fun to have someone next to you to help you nut out the puzzles.
The controls are super simple. You just move left, right, and jump. So the challenge comes from the world mechanics. Levels are horizontally split with opposing gravitational fields. Passing through gates to the other side causes gravity to flip. As you progress through the game's 15 levels, you'll come across a variety of gravity, momentum, and jumping-based platforming puzzles, all of which require careful coordination with your partner.
Yeah, this game is quite tricky from the start, isn't it? And requires a lot of chatting between you and the person you're playing with. There were many occasions where we'd stop to talk through a puzzle, point at the screen, and discuss tactics.
Oh, be careful.
Oh dear. Can either of us get through here? No. I think the most fun I had with this game was working stuff out with a friend.
Yeah, the game does a really great job of sharing the responsibility between both blobs. Because of the precise coordination required, it never feels like one player is carrying the other through the game. And the developers enforce this through colour-coded gates that can only be travelled through by one character. After all, this is not a one-blob show.
Well, I did have a go at playing solo. With my multiple processors working collectively, I succeeded in controlling both Ibb and Obb simultaneously.
Maybe you should check your memory banks, Darren, because that's not how it went.
Oh, well, let's see then. We'll check the memory cache.
We'll do it then.
All right.
All right, check it.
Loading cache.
Defrag.
All right, I've got both controllers. Now, engaging coprocessor.
Oh, nice one, Darren.
You're doing really well.
I'm impressed. I'll be impressed.
This is getting a bit tricky. Yes.
Yeah.
If I do this and...
Okay, so well now. You should...
No, you have to get them both moving at the...
No, coordinate them, Darren.
He has to jump on top of it.
Malfunction, information, overload,
Both moving at the same
Well, there you have it, Darren. I think I was right.
Well, it's definitely possible to play as both characters in the earlier, simpler levels, but once I reach the tougher areas, well, I guess my processors may need an upgrade.
Oh, cheer up, Darren. It was definitely a valiant effort, though. While the goal is just to reach the end of the level, there is an extra challenge in collecting all of the enemy's crystals. This takes some careful coordination as you try to line up each character to catch the crystal before it shatters.
There are also crystal stacks floating in difficult-to-reach spots, which require some cooperative jumping. At the end of each level, you celebrate your collecting prowess by partying with other random blob creatures. Party over here! I love these little guys. In fact, I think the design is top-notch all around.
Oh, I was incredibly fond of the cute little baby ball blob things. Not only are they adorable, but you can use them to take down enemies. Cute and functional, just like me.
Indeed, Darren, the design is superb. The pastel colour palette and tranquil music make for a wonderful contrast to the, at times, frustratingly complicated platforming. It's almost as if the game is mocking you. It whispers, relax, with all these soft, lovely colours while it launches spiky enemies at you.
Yes, the game is a bit of a troll like that, but that's why I like it so much. It makes no apologies for being challenging, and that's a good thing. So I think it's worth 8 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I'm giving it 8 out of 10 as well. Well, sadly, that brings us to the end of another episode. But Darren, that means you can reveal the answer to your challenge.
Oh, affirmative, Hex. At the start of the show, I asked you spawns, who is Rayman's best friend? And of course, the answer is Globox. Making his first appearance in Rayman 2, Globox has accompanied Rayman on countless adventures. He's also known for his slap-happy, crazy personality.
Nice one, Darren. Well, next time on the show, actually, I don't know, because I won't be here. I'm going to Los Angeles in the US of A to the big gaming convention known as E3.
Of course, Bajo, how exciting. Well, while you're away, Darren and I will be battling it out in Worms Battlegrounds.
Affirmative.
What stench? Impossible!
And we'll choo-choo our way through a train simulator in A-Train 9.
Bajo, have you even packed for your trip yet?
Oh, almost, Hex, just doing the finishing touches. Before I forget, Darren, could you please make me 12 toasted cheese sandwiches for the flight? Because I might get hungry.
Bajo, I have rocket boots. I'll just fly the fresh toasties to you when you need them.
That would be brilliant. All right, guys, well, Bajo out. See you later.
Have fun, Bajo. Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Darren out. Has he left yet?
Yes, he's just left.
Goose! Goose!
Welcome to the hosting chair, Goose.
Thanks, guys. I could get used to this. You sure Bajo won't mind? Because... Oh, hey, Bajo.
Hi. I just forgot my hat.
Yes, don't forget that. Have a good trip. Oh, in the middle.
So anyway, I was thinking we could have a party where everyone brings a different kind of toasted cheese sandwich.
Yes,
a toasted cheese sandwich party.
That would be amazing. I've got a whole different range of cheeses I can bring. I've got Gouda and I've got cheddar and I've got...
Edam?
Oh,